Mail in. Good morning, Sally. Good morning, Randy. Good morning, everybody out there listening to the Mail in Podcast. I am your host, Brett Merriman, chipper and bright on this lovely December morning. Sally, my lovely co-host to my right, Randy on the ones and twos in front of me, fresh off a D&D campaign, whatever that means. Sally, what's going on this morning? How are you?
You just like shocked the hell out of me. I was just trying to find the rundown, and all of a sudden it's like, nah.
Mail.
You're very chipper.
Very chipper, very bright. I was a little late getting to the studio this morning because I thought it was not Wednesday. I'll be really honest with you. And so I apologize, but I'm here. I'm ready to go. And excited to do this mail
Got
in
your
podcast.
buffalo check on?
What's buffalo check? Is it what
Yeah.
this I'll pull back the curtain and you'll probably yell at me. This is from high school. I've had this shirt for a decade plus, and it's just like my favorite flannel.
Mhm.
Worn in, beat to hell. Been to a lot of campfires. Been to a lot of college parties. Just kind of one of those go-to ones that you pull out when you need to have a good day. It's like a good luck flannel.
I had a J. Crew men's flannel shirt for a long time
Mhm.
that I cannot find anywhere, and I must have given it away in one of our moves. Like, and I'm really sad about it.
It's tough.
The weird thing is, though, that the buttons were backwards.
Interesting.
Well, because men's and women's buttons, they button from opposite sides.
No way.
Women's buttons are on the left side.
Are you and you button with the
And
right over?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, that's true. Look it up, Randy.
What?
It's true. Or
Why?
Brett, you look it up. I don't know. It's just a thing. So I got this men's shirt.
Oh, Randy's saying like.
Oh, Randy knows. Randy is saying yes, he knows, right? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I mean Smithsonian.
Randy, I thought
yeah.
Randy's disbelief was that what I just said, not
Me too.
Apparently the disbelief was that how stupid Brett is.
Yeah, nobody's really sure why, but it's been like that forever.
Yeah.
What?
So I
the
bought this
fuck?
shirt, and then I was like totally thrown off by it because I was like, why are the buttons? Okay, your buttons are on your right side.
Yeah. Is your button?
Yeah, I think women's
like
buttons are on the left.
That's so weird. I can't even imagine like doing that. Oh, my mind is blown. Sally.
You could be okay.
I think so. I'm sorry about your flannel. I need to do a donation run.
Yeah.
In the next couple of weeks here. My closet is to the point where I'm taking stuff out and just putting it in a drawer. Like, oh, that'll be the donation spot.
Yeah, we need to do that too.
Yeah, tough. How are you though? What else is going on? How are you feeling?
I feel a lot better.
Good.
I probably sound better. Fritz has recovered from hand, foot, mouth.
Let's go, Fritz, man.
Second time. I think last week when I was here, he was sick, but we didn't know with what. And then I took him to the pediatrician. And they were like, And then now Will has my cold.
Nice. Yeah, he was saying yesterday he's a stuffy boy.
He's inherited the cold, so I'm hoping maybe next week we'll all be healthy. And then I'm going to Cabo, so it'll probably just like really plummet from there.
You know what though? That's life. That's just life's experience. Why not get a little sick here? Go to Cabo, come back. You'll probably get sick in a different spot there, but who knows? Did you get a haircut?
No.
It looks good. It looks curl wavied.
I did curl this morning.
Very nice.
Because I feel like every time we film this stupid thing, I look like I just got out of bed, which is true. And we have family pictures this afternoon, so I thought I'd just get it all done in one fell swoop.
What is your strategy for family pictures?
Well, we haven't picked out clothes yet, which is the biggest stressor.
Do you do multiple outfits?
No.
Okay.
No. Well, this will be a 15-minute ordeal. Fritz hates the camera. He like legitimately hates the camera.
Really?
If he sees you point a camera at him or a phone, he will immediately start losing his shit. So it makes for a really tough time trying to get family photos. So we took family Christmas card, like with my whole extended family, not whole extended family, my immediate family, on Sunday. And we tried to get a picture of just the grandkids, which is like my two nieces and my other nephew, Bane, and then Fritz. And he was just losing his mind.
Really?
So we had to scrap that idea. So I think we're going to just maybe have our photographer hide in a bush and then
I was
do
gonna say,
candids.
imagine like a little trail cam, like you just have
That's what's gonna
Fritz
have to
and you and
happen.
Will walk by it.
Yeah. And, like, I need to get a
Oh,
picture with
man.
Fritz with Santa. He was supposed to do that this weekend, but he had the hand, foot, mouth, so we couldn't do it. But, like, is it worth it? Like, I know that it's funny to, like, see kids screaming with Santa, but, like, that will happen immediately. There's no question in my mind. He will not sit still for that. So I'm
Mhm.
like, should I not torture my child? Probably not.
You know who would be a really good Santa? Randy. Like, if we had a
Like
washed
a sexy
no,
Santa?
no, 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 like, Randy would be a good
Like,
like,
you saying Randy should be Santa is like when Schmidt has to be Santa and New Girl.
love Schmidt, one of the best characters on TV of all time. I think Randy would be a good Santa because he's really good with kids. He's really, he's, like, kind of the bubbly, he has the ho, 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 like, kinda jolly thing to him. He would do a really good costume,
Yeah.
and he doesn't have kids of his own.
Will you dress up like Santa for the Christmas party, Randy?
I think Randy, Randy.
Are you excited for the Christmas party?
I am. Are you excited for the Christmas
Yeah,
party?
I got an outfit last night.
Whoa. I
I
gotta I I gotta
I
put something
don't have an
together.
outfit for my family Christmas card, but I do have an outfit for the work Christmas party.
I might have to run something back from years ago, but the outfit will be done.
I want people to be festive,
Oh, do not worry about that, Sally deFries.
which means I need to go dig out Will's monogrammed turtleneck from wherever it is in our house.
Mm,
But it's probably
that would be
about 4
solid.
sizes too big now.
You know who has sneaky good turtlenecks that I've worn skiing the last couple times? Is whatever the Amazon brand is, and you can get them for, like, $25. They're in, like, cable knit turtlenecks. They're really warm, and if you didn't tell me they were 25 bucks, I'd say they were 175 bucks.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's a little hack out there if anybody wants to be festive with dope turtlenecks that I will put the link to somewhere. Anyway, what a start to this episode, Sally. We are the Mail-In Podcast. We answer questions about hand, foot, and mouth, Santa Claus, turtlenecks, you name it, actually. That sounds like a really good podcast. Get a laugh in, maybe walk away with something useful. How can you help us out? Please tell a friend about the pod. Send some clips to them. Shouts to Adam. We dropped one yesterday. Subscribe on iTunes. Please follow on Spotify. Hit the hotline number to leave a voicemail, 888-362-MAIL. That's 888-362-6245. Or you can write in at the link in the Twitter bio at Mail In Podcast. Please hit up the new store as well, washmedia.shop, and hit up the new YouTube at youtube.com/mailinpodcast to see our beautiful faces. Sally, are you ready to hop in?
I am ready.
What's up, guys? I went on a first date the week before Thanksgiving, and I think it went well. Before we could see each other again, I left for Thanksgiving week, but he left for his hometown for his hometown from Thanksgiving to New Year's, so we won't see each other until January. How would you navigate this? I think we're both interested in seeing where this goes, but it sounds exhausting to carry on the whole texting thing for almost 6 weeks when we only hung out for 2 hours. I don't want to get my hopes up, but I also don't want to write this off. Thanks. Love you. Bye. A little slow burn here, Sally.
I think you do just keep the texting thing up.
If there's any time to do this, to keep the texting thing up, it would be this holiday season
Right.
because it's fun, it's festive. There's always something to talk about. Oh, what'd you get for Christmas? Oh, what are you doing?
Mhm.
Like happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year's. There's always something to talk about, and it's kind of like you're with family, so there's a little low pressure. You're not just sitting in your apartment thinking about, oh, what are they doing? Why aren't they texting back? I think it's a great time to keep up the texting thing and not really worry about are they responding every day or hour or
Right.
4 hours. So I think this one's kind of easy for me.
So but here's how I feel about this. I had a guy probably the year or two before I met Will that like I had a kind of fling with like
Mhm.
early December. And then he went home for the holidays. And I was like, I really like this guy. Like we were super into each other. And then he just used the holiday as an excuse to just straight up ghost me.
Oh,
which sucked.
Yeah.
And then we like saw each other like a couple months after, and it like had totally died down at that point. Um, so I guess my PSA is it's also like, yeah, the texting for 6 weeks is like very easy, but at the same time, it's also like very easy to like let something die that you're not super into.
Okay.
Um, Here's how I feel personally, based on experience. If it's gonna work out, it's gonna work out. Like, Will and I started out as a long distance couple, like, very long distance. There was no, like, plan in sight to even meet for the
Mhm.
first few months, and, um, we liked each other so much that we were, like, texting, and then we ended up calling each other and then FaceTiming, and, like, I think yes, it's like, maybe you lose some momentum because he goes home and you're not in the same city, but I honestly feel like if this is the guy that you're supposed to end up in a relationship with or like date,
Mhm.
then it'll happen. Like
Yeah.
you'll have fun, flirty texts, you'll make plans, like around New Year's, you'll make plans to meet up early January, whatever. But also know that if it fizzles out, save yourself the heartache of
Mhm.
like me, that exactly me, like New Year's 2000, probably 14, whatever, like, literally drunk texting this guy, like, 7 times, which was so embarrassing.
Okay.
Um, and he, like, just truly ghosted me,
Oh, no.
so just real embarrassing behavior for me. But
Oh, no.
that sucks, but at the same time, like, think of it like any other time. Like, what if you went on a date with somebody and then they had all this shit coming up? I mean, think about how busy our lives are in
Mhm.
general. Like,
Totally.
if he's gonna make the effort with you, he'll make the effort. You don't have to be in person to like
Mhm.
have a good connection. People long distance like talk, date, etc. all the time.
I totally agree. I think it's one of those things where don't turn it into a game in your brain.
Right.
Don't be like, well, if he responded in 4 hours, I'm going to respond in 6. And
Mhm.
if he didn't ask a question, I'm not going to ask a question. I just think make it comfortable. And if he's into you, and as a man, if we're into you, we're going to text you. Is that
Right.
like that's just I think kind of a rule that should kind of just be everybody, like, universal,
Yeah.
whether you're man, woman, is somewhere in between, like, if we're into you, we're gonna make the effort.
Right.
So, use this as a time where, "Oh, let's see where this goes," and we can text, we don't need to see each other, in face to face, and maybe we do make a plan to do so because then we're excited about something for after Christmas, and I just think it's a good time of year to do it, like, it's just more fun, whatever for whatever reason, the holidays kinda get me in a more flirty, fun mood in general. So if
Yeah.
if there's any time to text, it's now.
Yeah.
You know what you get, for Christmas, Sally? For
What?
some friends? Maybe some athletic greens.
Guess who did hers this morning in the car?
Sally.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow, look
I
at
actually
you.
was gonna bring the bottle in just to, like, show that
Mm,
I had it with me,
mhm.
but, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's gross after you, like, drink it. You need to wash out the bottle. It's,
Yeah,
like,
you
not
don't
the
wanna
it's like anything you ingest that's not, like, water.
Yeah,
Like, you, like, show the empty bottle, like, that's
mhm.
kinda gross. What's
Yeah,
the
they'd be
point?
like, "Ooh, nice residue, Sally."
Yeah, gross.
But
But
I
but it was a delight this morning, and I have been really trying to do it on an empty stomach, first thing when I wake up, 30 minutes before I ingest anything else.
look, you wanna do the whole read?
Yeah, that is the read. And I think, honestly, especially because I was sick last week,
Mm.
helped me, like, feel better, get over this cold, like, I know I'm missing vitamins when I'm not doing it.
Could that be because you were absorbing 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens?
Probably.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably why you felt better right away because Athletic Greens is the one scoop, one stop shop for daily nutrition. You have some gaps in your diet, everybody does. Let Athletic Greens be there to help you out. Tons of people take some kind of multivitamin, and it's important to choose one with high quality ingredients that your body can actually absorb. You know what they say about vitamins, Sally? People are on all these kind of things. Just makes really expensive pee.
Yeah.
Not with Athletic Greens. Your body can actually absorb what you're putting into it. when you put a scoop in a glass of water. That's it. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, and it still tastes good. I would say somewhere between like a bubblegum, pineapple, citrus is kind of where my taste buds go for it.
Yeah, I actually as literally as you said that, because I always say pineapple,
Mhm,
got a little bubble gum this morning.
mhm. I think it's a little bit of a bubblegum citrus.
Notes of bubble gum and pineapple.
Exactly. Any tannins in there you wanna talk about?
I don't know enough about tannins to
Front, back, palate,
yeah, no.
mid palate. Your subscription will also come with a year's supply of vitamin D, which is so important to add in these winter months when we do not get as much, sun. By the way, cost efficient too, Sally. Costs you less than $3 a day, and you're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. Bada bing. It's also cheaper than getting all the different supplements yourself. So easy. One scoop, right in a glass of water, mix it up. I do smoothies sometimes. I just do it with a glass of water in the mix, down the hatch, and you're good to go. And
Mhm.
you like genuinely feel a difference in yourself. So here's the deal. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop and a cup of water every day, and that's it. No need for a million different pills. And supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1 year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/mailin. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/mailin to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. How about a voicemail, Sally?
Hey, Brett. Hey, Sally. Um, so my girlfriend and I have been dating for 3 years now, and with it being November, almost December, I was planning on proposing to her in the spring, like March, April, somewhere in there. What is the ideal time frame for me to ask for her dad's blessing and make sure I can acquire the ring and just really everything with the engagement altogether? Love you guys. Bye.
First off, love you too. Second off, congratulations. That's awesome. Third off,
Engagement season is upon us.
engagement season and Sally, as a notably non-engaged person, I I have these questions too. You know, for whenever that and whoever that may be in at some point, but I don't know the timeline. Like how long does a ring take to
So a
do
ring
that
will
stuff?
take depending on, like, what how, custom the ring is, probably a couple months.
Mhm.
So I mean, people can do it faster than that, but I would,
Sure.
like, budget maybe 4 to 8 weeks depending on, like, what you're doing. If
Okay.
you're buying a diamond yourself, if you're getting the ring custom made at a jeweler, I mean, like, this is what their whole job is, but depending on how much let's just say you pay for the services you get. So, like,
Okay.
if you are the type that you're like, I'm going to try to save some money by getting a wholesale diamond, and then I'm going to go find a jeweler with the diamond, blah, blah, blah. That's going to take more time because, like, you've got to do all the legwork. If you go to a
Mhm.
jeweler and you're like, here's what I'm looking for, either they may already have the ring ready and they just need to resize it, or they may be like, okay, we're going to go find said diamond. You got to look at them. They've got to ship them in. Then they've got to make the ring. I would budget about 2 months.
'Kay.
Um, it can be quicker than that.
Sure.
Okay. So I would start doing that. And again, we've said this multiple times. Usually a good idea, unless your girlfriend at the time is like very involved and wants to see him and help pick him out, etc. Then this is the time that you get like a friend involved, like one of her friends or a sister.
Mhm.
But here's where every time you tell someone, you, like, invite more people knowing about what's going on.
Absolutely.
Um, like, take for example, I know for a fact that Will's exact probably journey, and I don't know how long he was working on the ring, probably like a month, but he used his mom's diamond. So, like, my diamond was in his mom's ring. So his
Mhm.
mom had to, like, ship her rings, and then or maybe he got them from her. I don't remember. But
That would be a very scary week of waiting for a package
I
with
think
rings in
I
it.
think actually, so we got engaged early March. I think he got the rings,
Like at
her
Christmas or
ring
something?
at
Yeah,
Christmas.
that makes sense.
And then he went to a jeweler probably mid-January, showed what he wanted, and then they made the ring, and they also like replaced her diamond. So that was
Mhm.
a whole thing. Um, Emily, my sister, was involved in that from like 6 weeks out. Okay.
Okay.
So they make the ring. Maybe this was a month only. They make the ring and then they called Will and they're like, we have the ring ready. And it wasn't supposed to be done for like a couple weeks. So he goes and picks up the ring, freaks out, is like, I have to do it now. So that's when he asked my dad, and then he did it like 2 days later.
Got it. Okay. So it was just like
If
he's like,
you're
I need to
really
do
good
it.
at keeping secrets, you could probably extend that. But I think
Mhm.
most people, like, once they get it, they're like, oh shit, like now it's burning a hole in my pocket. Like, I don't want her to find it. Like, I'm freaking out. And so that really expedites the timeline.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
But
Got it.
so you've got the trusted person. In Will's case, it was my sister, and she
Mhm.
didn't tell anybody. So Will asked my dad we got engaged on a Saturday. I think Will asked my dad that Wednesday
So
before.
it's I mean, chop shop here.
And not that like my family is really tight knit and it's
Mhm.
hard to keep secrets from each other, but everyone, at least to my knowledge, like I had no idea. I think they kept it pretty secret. At least my mom and dad did, until Will told my siblings, because basically what he did was like he proposed to me and then we had like a party afterwards.
Sure.
And
Yeah, yeah.
so they knew at that point.
Mhm.
But I don't think anybody knew until Will told them specifically, which is
Got
really
it.
nice. But you just have to know how people are gonna react.
Yeah, you
So
gotta feel it out. There's no basically what I think we've come to is that get the ring figured out
get
first.
the ring figured out. Maybe you have the one person helping you out and
Right, and that
swear them
person
to
is
secrecy.
basically helping yeah, right, swear 'em to secrecy, that person's helping with the style, what she's gonna like big time. You might already know a little bit if you've some couples are more intimate talking about, like, "I literally want that
Right.
one," and we talked about this last week a little bit, but, so get the ring figured out, have that ready to go or basically ready to go.
Yeah.
Maybe it's in
It's in
transit or something,
production.
in
It's being
production.
shipped to you, whatever.
So you know that you're getting that payment has been made or whatever it might be. That's when you go to dad or insert figure here that you need to ask for
So there's no
permission.
wrong time. It's just based on how you feel. Like
Mhm,
if you're like, I am gonna have to like get it and then tell him and then immediately do it.
mhm.
Or vice versa. Like maybe you ask him first because you're going home with her for
Yeah,
Christmas.
or yeah, there's a trip maybe that you have an
Right.
idea that you wanna do,
But the
yeah.
one thing I will say, if you ask first before doing anything else, they're gonna wanna know a timeline. Because
Yeah.
like, then they're gonna be like, "Why did you ask me and you didn't do it for another year? Like, what the fuck was that
I
about?"
think we've gotten questions about that where it's like, I know he asked my dad for permission, but it's like 6 months later and now I'm
And that's
sitting on it.
that's like that for me is putting the onus on your family members or her family members to keep a secret that like maybe they are not super comfortable keeping. Like
Yeah.
that's really difficult, especially when you know like, oh, my sister's gonna get engaged and you've known it for months. It's like, no. If you're gonna ask the dad and you have done no work, you need to like give a firm timeline like,
Mhm.
"Hey, I'm asking you cuz we're home for Christmas, but I'm going to do it like when we go on this trip at the end of January
Yeah.
and I have all like I've worked out all this stuff." That's my argument for why you should wait to ask the dad.
Right.
I mean, I
I
guess there's
agree.
a chance you ask dad, tell her family, whatever, etc. And they're like, "No, we hate you," and you've already gotten the ring. But likely that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what if he says no?
Yeah. Um, but that's why I'm like, do the legwork first, then ask the family. Or
Mhm.
okay. Also, do I think that you have to ask permission to marry someone?
I was gonna ask this.
No. Um, I think that that's a very old fashioned, respectful thing to do. I think certain, uh, I'll just say parents across the board expect it.
Mhm.
I don't know if this is like more common in the South or like with more conservative families or whatever. I love my parents. Will and I were gonna get married either way. Like, he did not have to, like, ask permission. I think it was more
Mhm.
like a, "Hey, I'm gonna propose to Sally. Like, I just want you to know that I'm gonna take care of her and blah, 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 and we're gonna have a family, and this is how I feel," and everything. It was more of
Mhm.
like a declaration.
Sure.
Uh, no, I don't think you have to ask anyone.
Yeah, I agree. I think you can kind of feel out. the situations where you feel like you should, where you feel like you don't have
I
to.
think even if you're not close with her parents,
Mhm.
giving like a heads up might be nice
Oh, of course. Yeah.
because it's like you want to keep if she's close with her parents, if they have a bad relationship. I mean, we see this play out on The Bachelor all the time. Like
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
maybe you talk to a friend, like
Mhm.
just to like let them know, like one of her close friends or like a family member, or like a trusted aunt or whatever.
Yeah. There are a lot of situations that aren't necessarily like nuclear mom,
Right.
dad, 2 kids and a picket fence, like, "Oh,
Right.
asked for your daughter's hand," and it's yeah, there's a
I
lot
mean,
of
it's
different ways to do
2020,
this.
almost
Yeah,
2023. Like, do we
it's
need to
crazy.
be asking permission to like
No, I think
marry
yeah,
people?
I
No.
think it's certainly respectful in situations that probably demand it. Like you said, maybe the family's just very traditional
Yeah.
setup, and, like, I would feel more comfortable doing that, but it doesn't like, that's not an across the board
Right. I
situation.
mean, I think Will knew it was important to my parents.
Right. I think that's kind of where I'm trying to fall on it,
Right.
is it's if you know her parents, you have a really good relationship with them, you know it's gonna be important to them, you know they're gonna say yes, but you're still gonna do it because you want that.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm trying to
Yeah.
trying to land that plane carefully.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next one, Sally. Hello, guys. I come to you in need of dating advice. Well, you came to just the right place. Just over a month ago, I met a girl out at a bar, an analog meetup, if you will. I don't know what that means. Uh, what, Randy? What is an analog?
Analog, like
It
not
means that
digital.
yeah. Thank you, Sally.
Oh, like a digital meetup would be meeting
He
over.
met her in person, not on a dating app.
Yeah.
Okay, Randy apparently wrote in this question. Uh, we've done a number of dates, and she's met some of my friends, and we really have a great time when we're together. Here is the catch. Callback here. She's borderline impossible to text with. When making plans, she will sometimes go a full day or longer in between responses. Now, I'm a bit neurotic, so this really affects me mentally. The plans always come together in the end. We have a great time, but in the meantime, I become an absolute puddle. For a bit of context, she's newer to the city we live in, and I totally understand that she might just be trying to give herself some boundaries and may not be trying to dive into anything serious soon after moving here. I get that, and because of that, I've been very careful to not come across as overeager, but at the same time, I am absolutely head over heels for this girl, so it is difficult for me to try to sit back and wait. How can I temper my own expectations the best while still trying to keep things moving forward? Now, we mentioned caveat here. We mentioned that if there's an effort, or excuse me, if they're into you, there will probably 99.9% of the time be there's an effort made, right?
Right.
Which sounds like always ends up happening. He's not necessarily being like, "Hey, like it's been a couple days, are we still on for tonight?" They all still come together in the end.
Some people are just terrible with their phones.
I need to push back on that. I
Okay.
think
You get to have your argument.
okay,
Let me
okay.
just make an argument really fast.
Sally, you have the floor.
I used to be, I'm coming from this as I am terrible with my phone.
You also are a medical professional, which I feel like demands some attention on like people's bodies, and you can leave Joe Schmo over on the side for a while.
Yes. No. No. Okay. Well, okay. Let me just, when Will and I met, I worked in the ICU. I was a phenomenal texter then. Okay. Like literally, if you texted me, I texted you back within 2 seconds.
One hand on the carotid, one hand on your phone.
Yeah. I mean, and this was like all hours of the day, like whatever. If I was really good with my phone. And I so much so that when Will, especially because when Will and I first started texting, we did not play games. We were like not those
Yeah.
people, which was like I think how I knew like, okay, this is the guy I'm gonna end up with. Cause like we just kind of like threw that away. But I remember one of my friends literally texted me something and I texted her right back and she was like, wow, you were so quick to respond. I'm shocked. Now, that was probably 2015. Flash forward almost 8 years later. Like, I will literally somebody will text me and I'm like, okay, I gotta like deal with that. So like asking to go to dinner or something, I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
just gonna text them later. And then I'll totally forget. And then I'm like, shit, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like 2 days later, I'm like, hey, I meant to text you.
Yep. I do that too.
One of my friends, no names, has always been terrible with her phone. Like we'll be in the middle of a conversation. I know that she has her phone because like she just posted like an Instagram story or something and like will not text you for days. And this is across the board because all of our friends complain about it, including her husband. We're all like, she's awful. Like she's so bad about it. Cause it's like one of those things where I think sometimes when you like look at the text, you like click on it, notification's gone. You're like, I'll get to it later. And then you totally forget. You get stuck doing other stuff. Yes, I totally think that sometimes it's on purpose. And I know you're going to make your argument, but I am also saying there are people out there that exist that are not glued to their phones 24/7 who literally like just take days to respond to things.
Which is fair. And
So I'm just saying she could be one of those people. He sounds like he's not because she just moved there or whatever. Like I'm just gonna have my friend Lauren. We all knew Lauren was bad at
Damn,
texting
Lauren.
like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's just like been a joke with our friends for decades. Like we're just like, oh, Lauren's bad at texting. Like she just doesn't text you back. Like
yeah. It's like you're making a dinner res and you're just like, well,
but like he doesn't know this
Lauren.
girl, so he could be like, oh, Sarah, like Sarah won't text me, but like meanwhile, all of her friends back in like Cleveland are like, God, Sarah, like she moved to New York, but like she never texts us. She never texts us then. You know?
I think I just the whole like I'm bad at texting thing. It's like, okay, I think my argument is more that's too much of a blanket statement for something else. Just be like, hey, I like to look at my phone and not respond because I need the mental capacity to build up a response. Or I'm always busy and I just kind of put my phone away. Or I work and my don't really allow for like immediate responses. Not that we need immediate responses, but if it's just like like the morning and then all the way at 6 o'clock, and then you kind of go through that cycle. I just think I don't like the bad at texting blanket statement. I
Right.
like the okay, if you're bad at texting, give me some context there. And if it's out of a lack of interest, then we can be like, okay, so this is probably not going to work. Or if it's out of some sort of excuse or context, okay, well, we can work with that. And that's kind of what I mean. That's the only argument I guess I really have. On this case, I think it's a case where we talk about just communicate, and ironic here because there's a lack of communication.
Right.
But you need the next time you are solo or one on one, just be like, hey, I don't need this all the time. Here's my deal with texting communication. Let's just kind of set up where our heads are at and just say we don't need to text every 10 minutes.
Right.
But like do you always do this, or do you have like some sort of communication where, hey, I okay, you say you're bad at texting, you're bad at your phone. But like give me some more there. Is it because are you not feeling this? Are you not I don't
But
know. I
I think
think
some
there's
people
needs to
are just
be
unaware of like
fair. And I have the same thing. Like some group texts I have or some friends I have, it's like, oh, I'll see that. That's a tomorrow thing.
mhm,
Some are like, oh, that's a right away thing. Me and my sister, for example, we're like immediate. And if we don't text back, we'll call and be like, are you okay?
yeah.
So I think it depends on the person, depends on the group. But with a person you're into and kind of dating, I think that's when you set up more of a, hey, what are your expectations when it comes to communication?
Yeah.
And what is your schedule like? How do you best function? Not to like break a relationship down to just being like, how do you want me to talk to you? But I think it would be helpful to say, how do you envision us talking all the time? Or
For
do you?
me, I think this depends on how far into the relationship they are.
Okay.
Okay, if they're like only a few dates in and it's very casual and they've only, met each other's friends a couple times, but they're not like spending the night at each other's houses yet. I think
Mhm.
this is like maybe you can make fun of her, like a little like playful, like, oh
Okay.
man, talk to you on Tuesday, like when,
Mhm.
whatever, not like in a shitty way.
Sure.
But I think you, one, as a type A person, just have got to learn to like let go a little bit.
Yeah. Let your brain go to something else for a little
I'm
bit.
gonna speak in ASMR to calm you down
Okay.
because the type A's like me need to chill out a little bit. Just meditate on it for a second. Shh. Okay. That, number one. Number two, like, I think that there's something where if you're not super serious yet, you can be like, hey, like, text me back earlier this time. Or if you really like want to see her, when you see her, make plans for the next time you're going to see her. Be like, hey,
Yeah.
let's go on a date on Friday night. I want to take you somewhere, blah, blah, blah. So that there's no like, and then you check up with her, let the conversation flow as necessary and then check up right, the day before, like, hey, cool, pick you up at whatever tomorrow.
And kind of knowing that there's something there.
Also,
I think that's, you have said this best, is that if you're in a long distance relationship, the most important thing is having something to look forward to
Right.
as far as seeing each other again.
The other thing is use the power of phone calls. Just call her. FaceTime, call her. Be like, call her at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday when you just got home from the gym or whatever. Be like, hey, just wanted to catch up. Like, probably some people think that that's like psychotic. But also some people like might enjoy that. Like I said, like Will and I started as texting and then we progressed to calling. And then at that point I was like, we're like sharing too much information. I'm not going to sit here and like text with you over it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I find myself like with Rachel now, sometimes it'll just be like, we start to have like 3 different conversations in one like message, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'm answering one question, I'm asking one question, and I'm making a comment on something about the question.
Right.
And then now it's like 4 conversations in one thread.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, phone call or
Yeah.
FaceTime.
It gets too complicated.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that especially because things are good when y'all are together, this is just something you've got to like get over. Like
Yeah, if
there
she's
there's
being-
a lot of different tips and tricks. It kind of, for me, it depends on where in the
Mm-hmm.
spectrum of the relationship you are. If it's early, I don't think have the conversation yet. If you're like spending the night at each other's houses, I think that it's okay to be like, hey, can you be a little bit better with your phone? It's like really giving me anxiety.
Yeah.
And that's okay to say.
Sure. That makes it more of a two-way street. And
Yeah.
then you kind of figure, the more solved problems, I guess, the solved like riddles to a relationship you have, especially early,
Yeah.
the more able you're going to be to figure out if this is long-term or
Right.
short-term, or should you end it, or should you try this or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think like I have anxiety with this, you have anxiety with this. I think it's just kind of one of those things that you communicate on.
Yeah.
Ironically. Maybe you FaceTime them though and show them your closet. Or maybe you show them your sock drawer, perhaps. And
Are you FaceTiming people and showing them your sock drawer?
buddy, if you don't have any Bombas in your sock drawer, then you're not the one for me, Sally, because Bombas, they do it all. They make socks, underwear, and t-shirts that feel good and do good. They feel good because they're designed with the softest materials and comfort innovations, and they do good, Randy, because for every item that you purchase, we donate another to someone who needs it, and we mean Bombas. Bombas design their socks, shirts, and underwear to be the clothes you cannot wait to put on every day, or in Randy's case, can't wait to take off. Know what I'm saying? That's a dating thing. They're made from super soft materials like merino wool, Pima cotton, and even cashmere, which makes them the perfect cozy layers. And there's a pair of Bombas socks for everything you do, and they come in tons of options, like comfy performance styles for every sport and activity that keeps you moving. Sally, do you have a favorite pair of Bombas socks?
Yes. I have said this in the past, but I wear their compression socks. So I upgraded
Let me upgrade
because they have
you.
like the regular like everyday compression socks that are like 15 to 20.
Okay.
Because I'm on my feet a lot and I'm working, I upgraded the 20 to 30 pressure one.
Okay.
Oh man. First of all, they're really comfortable because like my last compression socks felt like so itchy and annoying, and I would take them off at the end of the day and like my legs would be aching from where they were like tight on me. These are like really comfortable and they're really super cushioned on the foot, so it feels like I'm supporting my foot but also keeping my blood flow back up to my heart. They're
Love that.
great.
That's what you got to look for. In
Highly
compression
recommend
socks.
for every medical professional, or if you are on your feet a lot at work, the Bombas 20 to 30. I mean, or if you just want some everyday compression, the 15 to 20 are good too.
I love it. I'm a big ankle socks fan
Yeah.
at this point. Because I love wearing like joggers with Adidas sneakers, and like the ankle socks kind of give me that perfect level of like they're not no show, which Bombas also has, by the way.
Yeah.
If you really want the no show vibe, but the ankle's got the little kind of tab on the back, super comfortable, like the most comfortable socks I've ever owned.
Yeah.
And I've washed them
It's like a
probably
hug for your feet.
yeah, I've probably washed them a dozen times at this point. Still the same
Yeah.
softness, and like I might right now. I'm on their website, shouts to bombas.com/collections/men's. Holiday pack calf socks. I just bought some. Look at I'm literally buying them right now.
Wow.
Add to bag. Nobody's buying socks during their ad read.
I think you are.
You want to know how you can do it? If you're out there doing the same thing I'm doing and give a little good this holiday season with Bombas, go to bombas.com, bombas.com/mailin and use code mailin to get 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/mailin and use code mailin. Bombas.com/mailin, code mailin, which I just did.
Nice.
Holiday socks. Next one, Sally. Hey, Brett and Sally. I moved to New York City a little over a month ago. Congratulations. I'm living with someone I don't really know. We only met up a couple of times before we moved in together. He's a good guy. We get along, but we really don't see each other often because of his hectic work schedule. It's almost like I live alone. This leads me to my question. Does this mean that buying things essential for the apartment is on me? Things like cleaning supplies, paper towels, light bulbs, etc. Plus, I do things every day like the trash and recycling, in general, tidying up. So it's like I do all the cleaning, but he doesn't make a mess. I take the trash out every time, but he barely produces any trash. I bought light bulbs and replaced the lights in the living room, but he never even spends time there. I'd love your help to determine what I can ask him to pitch in for monetarily.
Okay, I've been in
Interesting
one of
one
these
here.
situations.
Okay.
Like I lived with a girl and we were really close,
Mhm.
actually, like friends from work, and then we moved in together for a year. But because we both had boyfriends. Obviously, Will was out of town. We were never there at the same time.
Sure.
So it literally was like we were living alone. We were like together like maybe 6 times total the whole year we lived together. Um, especially if you're cordial, just be like, "Hey, I just picked up some stuff for the apartment. I'm gonna send you a Venmo." Like we just set the expectations early on, and I think like that if we were paying for stuff, or we were getting somebody to come clean the house, or we were
Mhm.
getting somebody to come do the yard, or like I think when we, moved in and brought furniture, it was like, okay, I'm gonna bring this stuff. And that was the other thing. Like we needed like a pot or a pan. She like bought one and then she just took it with her at the end of the thing. Like this is
Mhm.
really easy to navigate, especially if you're just normal, nice people. Just text him next time and be like, hey, I'm picking up some like essentials for the apartment, like toilet paper and laundry detergent.
Mhm.
Um, do you care if I Venmo you?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that his question here is more about the split. Like if he's the one, it sounds like maybe working from home, using most of the supplies, do you still 50-50 it?
Yeah, because it's for the apartment. Like, I don't know. For me, or buy your own
Yeah.
toilet paper, and then he'll buy toilet
Yeah.
paper when he needs it. You
You
know
don't
what I'm
wanna
saying?
right. You don't wanna make it like that where it's like, "Well, this is my toilet paper, you can use your."
Right.
And I think I hear his problem here, and I don't know if I'm like 50-50, maybe it's like some stuff is 50-50, like toilet paper or whatever, but then you don't wanna get in the weeds of being like, "Well, here's my tally and here's your tally."
I think you
I
just
just don't
split
know.
stuff
I
that
think
for
as long
me,
as it's
this
not
is easy.
egregious, like if you're
Yeah.
buying a Brita that you're never gonna use and it's $100 and maybe you don't split it 50-50, but if we're
Right.
doing cleaning supplies,
Cleaning supplies,
yeah.
toilet paper, paper towels all fall into like
Mhm.
you split that. If you buy a set of it, like you buy a blender
Yeah.
that he's going to use, you don't charge him for the blender. You just take the blender with you when you move out. Like,
Yes. Yep.
but as far as the cleaning stuff goes, especially if he's not, I don't think this is something to get worked up about.
Mhm.
If he's not like taking out the trash or cleaning up the kitchen, like it sounds like he's being clean after himself. he's probably, like you said, not taking out the trash because you're already doing it.
Yeah. And I think it's fair to Venmo, and maybe I'm coming back around to the 50-50 thing, and I'm rationalizing it by saying he's sort of paying for the ability to have you do all of that
Right.
by chipping in equitably to supplies and whatnot. Like if he's never there, his payment for you being like, well, I'll take out the trash, recycling, et cetera, is splitting the cost with you. So it's bringing your cost down too.
Yeah.
And just you are doing that stuff. I think that's probably fair all around. But yeah, he should be chipping in is
Right.
the deal here.
And I don't think you need to like get worked up or resent him. Just say like, "Hey, I picked up some supplies today. I'm gonna send you a Venmo."
Yeah, and if
Don't
he's
even
like,
make it a question. Just be like, "I'm gonna send you a Venmo."
yeah, and if he's like, no, I'm never there. Why? And then be like, well, that's not how this works. We split rent, and you're never there. So
Yeah.
like, why would we not split cleaning supplies?
Yeah.
Deal. Hey guys, first time, long time. My friends from college and I are planning a girls' trip for next April. Here we go, Sally.
Okay.
The idea was hatched one-on-one with a friend, and we decided to loop in the rest of the group to gauge interest, but the two of us plan to take this trip regardless. There are a wide range of financial situations in our group, but to our surprise, all the 4 other girls wanted to come. Here's the catch. One of our friends is pregnant and due in January. She plans to bring the then 3-month-old baby on the trip with us. The rest of us don't have kids, and while we all respect parental obligations, this will make for a wildly different type of trip for us that none of us are interested in. Her motivations may come from the fact that her husband does nothing around the house. Shots fired. He doesn't do laundry. He doesn't make his own food. He doesn't schedule his own doctor's appointments. He doesn't do absolutely anything. While this is a product of her own doing, I could see her thinking that leaving the baby with him for 3 days is not an option. We don't want her to feel like we are taking a trip without her. And even though we didn't originally think this would be a whole quote group, or excuse me, a whole group trip, her absence would in fact mean that it was everyone but her on the trip. How do we tell our friend that we'd like her to either leave her baby at home or bow out of the trip?
Okay. There's a chance this just gets resolved once she has the baby and she's like,
I can't go on a trip.
I can't go on a trip with a 3-month-old.
Yeah.
There's a high chance that that happens. Number 2, this also easily resolved depending on where you're going. If you're going to Mexico, likely she's not going to be able to bring the baby. I mean, not like she could, but she's going to have to get the baby a passport. We're going to do all this shit to like go to Mexico.
Got
If
it.
you already know where you're going, then you start planning stuff and you're like, we're going to go to dinner at 7. Da, 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 da. Again, that knocks out the kid being able to be there because like it's a 3-month-old.
Yeah.
It's got to go to bed and like you're going to have to find a babysitter, all this other shit. So I think it's insanely reasonable for someone to talk to her, whoever is probably closest with her. I don't know. Truly, I do not know if it's better to do it now while she's still pregnant or wait until after she's had the baby. Here's what I'm going to say. Postpartum is a really lonely time, even if you have a lot of support. And springing something like that on someone postpartum might be a lot.
Okay.
She may change her mind. Like she may be like, I don't want to do this with the baby. But I think it might be a good idea now to bring up like, hey, we're thinking we like want to plan, I don't know where they're going, but we want to plan a couple dinners and nights out. Like, I know you were thinking about bringing the baby, but like, have you considered maybe leaving him at home with Tom or whatever, or maybe your mom? Because I know that it might be really hard to find a babysitter we trust in Scottsdale.
Sure.
Or Cancun, whatever.
Yeah, like
and I just don't want you to feel burdened. I mean, let me just say this. Being postpartum and being on a trip is already a burden, especially if you're like pumping and stuff like that. Bringing the baby is like a whole other thing. And I don't think it's unreasonable to say like, we want to plan some nights out and stuff, and we don't want you to miss out and just be there with the kid.
Yeah.
Like, I think it might be better to leave him at home. I would,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't say or not come. I would just say like it's going to make the rest of the logistics difficult.
Totally. And she can't be expecting, unless she's a psychopath, that they're gonna like build a trip around her 3-month-old, like a girls' trip.
Right.
Yeah, that's insane.
And like I said, I would have that conversation now. And then depending on how she reacts, maybe she's like, yeah, you're right. But having a baby, like, is going to change that. Like, let me just say, I think having the kid, like, dealing with sleep schedules, who knows how her and her husband are going to react to this? You know, who knows how he's going to step up or not? Like, she may be like, I can't leave my house right now.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, you
Yeah.
never know how it's, but I would plant the seed now and be like, we obviously want you to come. I think it would be a great opportunity for you postpartum to like get away.
Mhm.
And I really want you to be able to like relax and take some time for yourself because you're going to need it.
Right. I totally agree. Send her this podcast.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I would have taken I took a trip probably 7 months postpartum
Mhm.
and we left Fritz at home, but I was still pumping. It kind of sucked, but it was definitely necessary for my mental health. At 3 months, I would have been like, hell yeah, get me out of this house. Like, he's staying home. And I think people think though, they're like, oh, it's like a baby. Like they'll just like sleep and whatever. But like it's not like that at 3 months.
Mhm.
It's not.
Yeah. I
Good
don't
luck.
have the experience, but yeah,
Yeah.
good luck. Last question here, Sally. Hey, Sally and Brett. My best friend got accepted into a chiropractor school in New Zealand. That is fucking awesome. He will be moving away from Canada in a couple of months, and he will be living there for 4 years. I'm so proud of him for getting this amazing opportunity in a very competitive program. Also, sounds like you're going to visit him and it's going to be awesome. Here is the issue. I have not heard his girlfriend say one supportive thing about this opportunity. At his birthday, she said in a group that she cried because he has not reconsidered leaving and that she is manifesting that his visa doesn't get approved. I was shocked when she said this, and in no way was she making a joke. I've talked to him about it since, and he's been frustrated, but brushes it off as not a big deal. I think it's a huge deal. He deserves nothing but love and support, not resentment during the shift in his life. I want him to break up with her, but how should I handle this situation and best support him? Yikes.
This is going to get worked out on its own.
You think?
Yeah. I think you just are there and listen to him and are a sounding board.
Okay.
That's really sad. From her perspective, like I kind of understand. Like
Quite the shift. Yeah.
I get both. Like I
Mhm.
get both sides. Like if if
It's not-
somebody
it's
I
not-
loved
yeah,
was
it's
like
not-
going to medical school of halfway around the world,
Yeah. This
I'd
isn't
be like, shit,
Austin
this is
and-
like totally going to change our relationship.
Yeah.
And this guy does not know what's going on behind closed doors. Like
Mhm.
maybe they're having a conversation about her trying to move there. And I think it's okay to give space to both of them, but also her to like kind of mourn what's going on.
Sure.
Because personally for me, that is like he's moving from Canada to New Zealand, like likely that relationship's not going to survive.
No, it's not. It's not Kansas City and Chicago. It is.
And it's okay for her to be upset about that. And you don't know for sure how she feels about it unless you've asked, but like her crying about it when she's drunk or making a comment about how she hopes his visa. I mean, that might be an offhand joke comment and it may be, or maybe exactly how she feels, and that's okay. But also there may be a reason why your friend is going to New Zealand over somewhere in Canada or in the US which would be like closer, easier. Like maybe he's trying to get away from her. Maybe this is like the opportunity he wanted. Like, but it's as a friend, I don't think that that's your place to determine what's going on in their relationship.
Yep. I think that's very fair.
I think it's okay to commiserate with him if he's like, I'm really frustrated. Like she's really upset about this. And she's not like supporting me. But
Mhm.
I personally understand how it would be hard to support someone that you love, like
Mhm.
moving halfway around the world for 4 years.
Yeah.
But I think as the friend, you're like, yeah, I totally get that. That's really frustrating. Like, we're super happy for you, but I'm sure she's just really going to miss you. And it's probably really hard for her right now.
Mhm.
But I get that it's also really hard for you. And then you just sit back and let whatever is going to happen run its course, and you just support him in that way.
Yeah. So you kind of be guardrails, you be soundboard,
Right.
you be you lack putting your opinion into this. You kind of are more just playing defense.
And you can say what your opinion is, that like you're disappointed that she's acting the way she is.
Just, I mean, not to her.
Right.
Like, yeah, you're not being like, hey, you should break up.
But
like,
you don't, I mean, I don't know. This is delicate to me because I'm like, it's not like she's cheating on him
No.
or something that like requires maybe some honesty with your friend.
No, it's
And hopefully the friend who's going to New Zealand has like thought some of this through in his mind. Like if he's naive enough to just be like, oh, I'm gonna go to New Zealand, my girlfriend's gonna be super happy about it, and like that's his issue.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like FaceTime doesn't really the time zones are tough. Though.
Yeah.
I think that's what's that, 12 hours?
And I think you're like on a whole
Depending on
different
where
day at
in
some
Canada?
point. Like,
Oh, yeah.
they're just
Absolutely.
yeah. So I think it's okay to commiserate with your friend. I don't think that this is a thing where you're like, she's not supporting you and you need to break up with her before you leave. Like he will come to that conclusion himself if he needs to.
Yep, fair. Or they try it for 2 weeks and they're like, ooh, not gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you mentioned support. That's the biggest thing right now. Play defense and just kind of keep it to yourself and let life work itself out. Shower thoughts, Sally. Do you have any?
No, I don't.
Nope.
My brain is very empty this morning. Sorry.
Your brain is fully focused on your son and his camera attitude this afternoon.
Yeah, my shower thought is like, how do I get my photographer
to hide in the woods?
To hide in a bush. Yeah.
Mine is Randy being Santa Claus. No, have you seen the last week or so? AI is in the news. Artificial intelligence.
Yeah, is this what your current profile picture
Yes,
is? Okay.
it is
I feel
AI.
like everyone's like doing these and I don't understand it.
Explain it
to me like I'm 5.
So there's two basically tools that dropped in the last week, or at least have gotten some like critical mass of popularity.
Okay.
The Lensa app, Lensa, is now the most popular app in the App Store for people doing things like this. So you'll see, like, that is my AI
Here's the question.
profile picture face.
They took a picture of you?
So what you do is you upload like 10 to 20 photos of yourself, and there's specific guidelines. It's like, got to be just you, got to be just your face, like not just your face, but they say do different angles, do different like outfits.
Right.
But it has to be your face clearly visible. And it takes that information and builds portraits of you that are like movie posters, that are fantasy images, and it's remarkable. And some of them are photoreal, and it's scary.
Okay.
Then real quick, then the other tool is this Chat GPT thing, where you can basically write in a prompt, be like, I have tomatoes, parsley, chicken, and onions in my fridge right now. Write me a recipe, or write me a Morgan Wallen song mentioning beers, the boys, and my dog. It is this remarkable tool that can take a prompt and write anything. It's incredible. So, like, people are scared of AI or whatever. I just think it's really interesting, the applications right now that are
Right.
cool.
So this kind of goes back to like, I did a lot of stuff in school about data mining and how all of this is like such a broad conversation of like how every single thing we are doing is like being stored in a computer somewhere to like predict all of our behavior and etc. So this kind of goes back to that. But like, are we gonna find out in like 2 weeks that this Lensa app is like owned by China, just like the old people app was? And then,
Yeah,
like
no,
all of our faces are stored in the metaverse, and like now like we're all being like surveilled.
Yeah, very good.
I know
chance of
that sounds like very like, oh, big brother of me, but like, remember when everyone was doing the old person photo thing, and then everyone was like, oh shit, stop downloading it. Like they have access to your phone. Like I feel like we're gonna find that out in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean that could be, but I fall in the same tree as Dylan here. I'm just like, oh, have my shit. You know, you won't, as long as you don't have my bank account. Like, I don't really care.
Okay, but the thing is, I think
about,
that they probably do have your bank account. Like, I feel the same way. If anybody's like,
well, they don't have a whole lot then, Randy. You know what I
if
mean?
anyone has like a bug on me, like they're probably listening to like some really boring shit. Like, I have
Mhm.
nothing interesting going on in my life. But like, do I want like my entire medical history or my bank account or all of those things being like broadcast? No. Um, am I too trusting with information? Yes. Uh, do I worry sometimes that like my identity is going to be stolen? Yes. But is it like something that I think about 99.9% of the time? Absolutely not.
Mhm.
Like, it's something that's like a passing thought sometimes. And then I like go back to like buying shit with my credit card on a 5G or a random
Yeah,
public Wi-Fi.
public Wi-Fi, like at Starbucks.
So like I'm like the exact person that you're not supposed to be doing. I'm just not protecting my data at all.
I just think
And like now
there's
I've said it on this
yeah.
podcast, and then China is going to come steal
hello,
all my
yeah.
shit.
This is me talking to the Chinese government. I just think for the purpose of this shower thought, it's more we're still at the cool stage. And I think predictive AI is really cool. And I think what they did, like here, showing Sally, I downloaded the avatars. They're really, really interesting, and sometimes too good. And I think it's such a unique, and I feel bad. Randy and I were talking about this the other day. Um, it's putting artists out of work in theory because
I
some
mean,
of
I don't
these are
know. If you like had this hanging in your room, I would probably make fun of you.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But I just think it's a cool way to look at the power of this technology. I think it's wild.
Like, what are you gonna do with this?
That's the one I think Randy wants to do too.
Oh my god! Like, this is you walking with a cane. Why?
I know. That's a
Like,
great question.
what's wearing skinny jeans? What's the point?
You know, I don't know. But I did it, and you can download like all your things at once, and I just think the technology is powerful and wild.
Okay.
But it just the way it works is really cool. And that's all my shower thought is. Anyway, that'll do it for the mail-in today. Please subscribe, rate 5 stars, review, and tell a friend about the show. Hit the hotline number 888-362-MAIL. That's 888-362-6245. Or you can write in at the link in the Twitter bio at Mail In Podcast. Sally, where can the people find you?
Sally deFries on Instagram and Twitter.
I am Brett Merriman at Schmerriman on both those platforms. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.